Thank you for taking the time to watch this Paladin Technical Library training video. In order to get the most out of the training video and to see the most details, we highly recommend expanding your YouTube screen to full screen as well as changing the video quality to 1080p. Thank you and enjoy the training. Paladin Technical Library, or PTL, is Paladin Attachment's new online technical web library. Parts information will be available on the site in interactive parts books as well as static PDFs for most non-production equipment. Additionally, operators' manuals, bulletins, and various other technical documentation will also be kept in the new PTL site. This training video will walk you through how to search in PTL to find parts and technical information. To get you started, you should first understand the basics of navigating in PTL. As indicated in the intro, PTL is an online technical library. On the left of the library are library shelves. On the shelves, there are interactive parts books, as well as non-interactive or static media. I will describe both a little bit later in this training. The contents of the shelves can be viewed in a few different ways. The first two views of tile and list show you a thumbnail of the book and the name of it. The third view, or grid view, is in a table format and can be sorted. The last view, or flow view, is a combination of a tile view and a grid view. Regardless of what view you are looking at, you can always find additional document information by clicking the eye icon next to a media. This icon will open up a media info pop-up which shows you some media attributes as well as any specific information tied to that media item, such as model number or product type or brand. Users of the PTL site may be coming here for many different types of information. Some will use PTL to find part information and others to find operator or service information. Throughout the training, we will use example scenarios to describe different ways that the Paladin Technical Library can be utilized. Before we go through the site, you should first understand how to access or open the media or documentation within PTL. To open any static or interactive media in a shelf, simply click on it. This will open up a new media tab, and you can always go back to the library by selecting the Library tab. The media I'm in now is a PDF. This is called a static media item because it is non-interactive. You will find that most technical documents, such as operators' manuals, will be found on our site in this format. Now that you understand how to navigate the library and shelves within it, the next thing you will need to know is how to find parts and technical information in the library. There are 3 different ways to find parts and technical information in the Paladin Technical Library. In this first example, a technician in the field is looking for an operator's manual for their Breadcrumb and JRB machines. I'm going to demonstrate how they might find that using the first search method in PTL. This method is called visual navigation and is simply done in the library by selecting a shelf and then visually identifying the media that you need. On the left, I can see that the shelves are named by brand and then a designation of parts books, operators' manuals, or non-production manuals. Parts shelves are currently a combination of interactive parts books and static PDFs containing parts information. Operators' manuals shelves contain non-interactive PDF operator manuals. Non-production shelves contain PDFs for products that are no longer in production. Most of the content in the non-production shelves will be static, including the parts pages. In the future, we do plan on creating interactive parts catalogs for the most popular non-production manuals, but for right now, you can view, search, and download the existing PDFs for parts information. Going back to the scenario of the technician looking for an operator's manual, I can visually identify the shelf I need and then select it. And from here, I can open up the operator's manual that I wish to view. Similarly, if I were looking for a JRB manual, I would go to JRB Operators Manuals and visually find the assembly that I'm looking for and open it. So far, we have looked at how to navigate and visually identify static media. But what about interactive media? In this next scenario, a purchasing agent for a distributor is looking for a Macmillan drive auger. While normally the agent would use our searching methods, which I'll go through a bit later, to identify parts, in this example, they're going to use visual navigation to find the book. Back in the library, I'll click on the Macmillan Parts Manual shelf. And from here I will select the Auger X Series Planetary Drives book. Here I can find the model of planetary drive I'm looking for, and in this case it's the X1975. I will expand the X1975 Planetary Drives chapter by clicking on it. And if you're searching for parts, you will then navigate down to the appropriate page by identifying it by the diagram name or image. I opened this page by selecting it in the book viewer, but I also have the choice of using the table of contents on the left. To go back to the top of the book, I can use the Breadcrumb Bar at the top of the page. Once I'm in a page, I can visually navigate to the part I'm looking for by clicking into the diagram and dragging it to the area that I wish to see. There is also an option to use the Diagram Navigator on the bottom right of a page, where the gray box highlights the section of the diagram you are viewing. There are even more options to increase or decrease the size of the diagram that you're viewing. Through the use of the page viewing tools, I can identify my part. Once I click on it, I can also see it in the bill of materials here, and I see that this is a serial number required part. If I look at the additional information column, I will see the serial numbers applicable to each version of this hex planetary. While effective and easy, visual navigation is probably the least efficient way to find content in PTL. Instead, we recommend searching using either the library search on the top left of the library or the shelf filters on the right of any shelf. I'll go through both next. For users that know the part number they are looking for, it is much easier to use the library search in the library. You can find this on the top left of the library, and once clicking into the search box, you have a couple different search options. Here you can search every searchable field, book names only, part numbers and part names, and you can choose to search by contains or exact value. Use contains for searches that may not be exact. In this example, I will search for an exact match value on RHW8119 part number, and I'll leave the search type as everywhere. Once I execute the search, I'm brought to the search results quick link, where I can see that 2 media contain this value. In the shelves on the left, I can see that one media is in the FFC parts manuals, and the other media is in the FFC operators manuals. You should note here from this example that the library searches both interactive parts manuals and inside of static PDFs. If I click on the parts manual shelf in the parts manual book, or the auto rake, as soon as I open the book, I'm brought to the parts page containing that part, and the part is highlighted in the diagram. By clicking on the part, I'm zoomed into the diagram and can see the part description. The part is now also highlighted in the bill of materials. To see the bill of materials and diagram in a different view, I can click the Diagram Viewer option on the top right of the page. You might have noticed that the part highlighted in the BOM is not the same number I searched for. If I click on the hot point and then the Get Part Info button, I can see the part information I previewed in the bill of material, as well as any additional information, such as related items, comments associated to this part, and thumbnail images if there were any available. Here you will also find superseded part numbers. I can now see that the original part number I searched for, RHW8119, has been superseded by this part number, or the 07-7741 part number. Going back to the library, let's take a look at the third method of finding parts information in the Bulletin Technical Library. Distributors that have a price list containing the model number or assembly number on it, or end users that can access the serial plate of the part, should use shelf filters to identify the assemblies and information they are looking for. Shelf filters can be found on the right of any shelf. These options allow you to narrow down to specific media if you are unsure of exactly what part you are looking for. In this example, I will search for an assembly PCN number of 90H0932. As a side note, assembly number or PCN values are typically found on serial plates of heavy equipment, while model numbers are found on the serial plates of most other Paladin attachment parts. I will click Apply Filters to submit the filter, and after applying my filter, I can see that I have one result in search results. In the shelves, I can also see that this search result is in the JRB Parts Manual shelf. I will open the book, and by doing so, I'm automatically brought to the correct assembly page that I'm looking for. In this page, you will notice that there are circle callouts or hot points, as well as square callouts or hot points. The square callouts are linked callouts. Linked callouts direct you to a different page or area of the Paladin Technical Library. Users should click on these square callouts to be directed to additional important information, such as part information or, in this example, kit pages. If I click on the arrow, I will be brought to my hydraulic kit list page. Throughout many of the parts books in the Paladin Technical Library, you will find kit pages that you can reference for additional information to determine what replacement kits you need. In this example, I was searching for the 90H0932, and here I can see that that's linked to the 96H0215 hydraulic kit. If I click on it, and I follow the hotpoint link, I will be brought to a page where that kit is further broken down and I can order various parts of the hydraulic kit. Essentially, those three scenarios cover how you might find various parts or technical information in the Paladin Technical Library. The next thing we will look at are some additional features in PTL that you should be aware of. The first is comments and related items. In this example, I have already searched and found the parts manual I want to look at. I will be in the Pallet Forks Signature Series Parts book looking for general assembly component information and information on replacement decals. As soon as I open this book, I notice that on the top right of the book, there is an indicator showing me that there is one related item to this media. If I click on this, I can see that the related item is a parts bulletin. From here, I easily clicked on the parts bulletin to open it and view it. Many items can be related to books, pages, and even parts, so always look for a yellow related icon as you are navigating through PTL. Going back to my book, I'm now going to open up the Replacement Decals chapter. Here again, I notice that there is a yellow icon on the top right of the page indicating to me that there is a comment related to this chapter. If I click on it, I can see that there is an important note informing me to see the operator's manual to learn more about decal placement and definition. I have the option to go back to the library now to find the operator's manual, but since we have already trained on searching, I'm simply going to open up the verbiage decal parts page back in the book. Moving on to the next feature, here and in every other parts manual or static media, you have the option to use another great feature called Contact a Media Owner. If I am a distributor or an end user and I'm looking at a parts manual, bulletin, or operator's manual and have questions about the content or find something that I believe to be incorrect or missing, I can contact the media owner of this document. By clicking on the top left exclamation point icon, PTL will open a contact form where users can add screenshots, photos, or any other additional information or file and submit comments and questions to a system administrator. The last and final feature that you should be aware of is printing. Distributors have the ability to find parts books or static media and print them, to either provide it to their customers or to use it in locations where they may not have access to the internet. While we always recommend using the Paladin Technical Online Library online to ensure that you have the most up-to-date information, we do recognize that there may be times when you temporarily need a printed copy of assembly or part information. Printing a parts book is done by clicking the print icon on the top left of the parts book. You can then make your print selections, such as do you want to just print this page, the whole chapter, or the entire book. Next, select the Print button, and this submits a job to the Job Manager, which automatically opens after you click OK, and then Submit, and your job will appear in the Job Manager. If I accidentally exit out of the Job Manager, I can always access it again by clicking the Job Manager on the top right of the library. Once the book is listed as completed, I can select it, and the PDF will open in my browser. Here I can save or print the PDF document. Here you will also find that there is a table of contents and the various pages with part information that you need. Going back to PTL, if I need to download an operator's manual or product bulletin, this can be done directly from the document. For example, as a distributor, I might need to download an important product bulletin and email it to a customer who recently purchased a Breadcrumb pallet fork tines attachment from me. After opening the appropriate bulletin, I can see that I have PDF options where I can save or print my file. These options will vary based on the PDF viewer that you are using in your internet browser. That now covers navigation, searching, and the key additional features in PTL. Last, going back to the library, above the media shelves, we will take a look at quick links. These are essentially links to exactly what they indicate they are related to. The first is news items. Important Paladin attachment updates and information can be found here. The second is search results, which you saw used earlier when I executed a search in the library. The next two list the media that you have most recently viewed and those that were recently added. Recently added is a very important link to look at often. This link will continuously be updated with the parts manuals that are being built and converted from static PDF format to the rich interactive parts pages you have learned about in this training video. Last is offline content, which lists any content that may have been downloaded to the offline shelf in DocuMobile. DocuMobile is the mobile version of Paladin Technical Library available for iOS and Android tablets only. This concludes the Paladin Technical Library training video for searching and part information. In this video, you learned about how to navigate the library, navigate parts books, and learned about searching visually in the library or by using shelf filters or the library search. For more information on various things in PTL, please see the training material shelves in the Paladin Technical Library.